September used to be a crazy busy month for me because I was directing coverage of the largest gathering of world leaders for one of the world's biggest news organizations. And that meant sending about 15 reporters every day into UN headquarters to cover the action, as well as sending them around Manhattan chasing all the side events that go with this huge event.
I'm talking about the opening of the United Nations General Assembly in New York every year. Just about every leader shows up in person or on screen, and the big issues from COVID to war to climate change get aired out.
Now, over the years of dealing with this sprawling international event, one thing always struck me as a little bit odd, and that was the African leaders didn't really have much of a spotlight. Strange, because the continent with the largest number of countries is Africa.
To express my warm greetings to the president and indicate to
From America, what these African presidents and prime ministers often get is a version of speed
very
dating.
good feeling towards the people of America.
Quick meetings on the sidelines of the big event.
Appreciate it, and I'm greatly honored to host this lunch, to be joined by the leaders of Cote d'Ivoire, Ethiopia, Ghana, Guinea, Nambia, Nigeria, Senegal, Uganda, and South Africa. Africa has tremendous business potential. I have so many friends going to your countries trying to get rich.
And the reason for all these casual official encounters in New York? Well, an American president has not visited Africa, wait for it, in more than 6 years.
Obama's historic speech to the African Union in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, the first by a sitting president, was the last time a U.S. leader showed up on the continent.
I believe Africa's rise is not just important for Africa, it's important to the entire world. We will not be able to meet the challenges of our time, from ensuring a strong global economy, to facing down violent extremism, to combating climate change, to ending hunger and extreme poverty, without the voices and contributions of 1 billion Africans.
If you sense that something big is happening in Africa, you're right. This channel helps you understand that transformation so you can invest your time, talent, and money in the continent of the future.
Now, moving an American president anywhere in the world is a complex effort, and security is a key consideration. But the symbolic value of the American leader, the most powerful elected official in the world, touching down in Air Force One, is massive. And other leaders are copying the American model, notably Turkish President Erdogan.
Now, one of Erdogan's visits really stands out for me. He was coming back from a summit meeting in South Africa, and he stopped in Zambia for the day, he and his entourage. He didn't just make some remarks at the airport and then hop back on his official plane and fly off to Ankara. Erdogan actually went into Lusaka, the Zambian capital, with the Zambian president, and they visited the burial places of former Zambian leaders and held working sessions on political and economic topics. And from that, Erdogan promised that Turkish airlines would begin flying to Lusaka, and a few months later, that's exactly what happened.
Turkey has opened embassies across Africa to expand political ties and also markets for its textiles, foods, and electronics.
Now, Obama hosted a U.S.-Africa Leaders Summit back in 2014, and to his credit, Trump hosted the presidents of both Nigeria and Kenya in separate working visits to the White House.
Among the issues on the table, a possible trade agreement.
We are with President Kenyatta of a wonderful country that we do a lot of business with, Kenya. One of the most beautiful countries, from what I understand, Mr. President. We have lots of pictures and lots of people that tell me how beautiful your country is.
Wait, I almost forgot there was a Trump visit to Africa.
Trying to turn colonialism into a fashion statement, that just doesn't work. This is the 21st century, and Africa deserves to be treated as something more than a photo op. So folks, let's get real.
Now, as we know, 2020 was not a year for world leaders to be traveling around the globe and meeting face-to-face. In fact, the speeches for last year's opening of the United Nations General Assembly were done by video. But as we start to put COVID behind us, guess what? America's rivals in Africa are preparing to jump back in.
Japan, the world's third biggest economy, is hosting an African summit in Tunisia next year as it tries to catch up to China's big lead all across Africa. Russia is also planning a summit in Africa next year in Ethiopia after hosting the first such meeting in October 2019 in Russia. Now, it's been over 3 decades since Russia wielded any kind of influence in Ethiopia, Africa's second most populous nation. So where's America? Well, if the president can't get to Africa, surely his top diplomat, the Secretary of State, makes the journey, right? Trump's Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, sent out an email to the worldwide staff just days before he left office praising his travels, but there was an embarrassing hole in his map. Care to guess where? And traveling is his job. One positive sign from the new president, Joe Biden's first international remarks, were to the African Union's annual summit meeting.
And through the challenges ahead, although they're great, there is no doubt that our nations, our people, the African Union, were up to this task. I hope I can be with you next time in person. I want to thank you, though.
America is engaged in a lot of important work in Africa, whether it's supporting public health care, education, the growth of entrepreneurs, democratic governance, so many areas, the environment, climate change resilience, and so forth. A lot of these things people are not even aware of, the scale of the American investment in money, in time, and in personnel across dozens of countries. So American visibility is very important for America's economic interests, social interests, and humanitarian and security interests, but it's also important for individuals, for digital nomads, for travelers, for investors and business people, and of course it helps the partner African countries that are developing their economies, that are at the heart of this transformation that's going on in Africa. So that's why Trump's focus on Kenya has really resonated, because people wonder, will Joe Biden pick that up and will he complete the trade deal, and will it become some kind of a template for other countries in Africa? And exactly what other ways will America come in and try to influence change, support change that's going on in Africa? So visibility, much more important than we often think it is.